Minister Hayashi's press conference will begin. There is nothing to state from my side today. Now we would like to accept questions. Those who are designated, please come to the nearby microphone and state your name and your affiliation. Iwasa-san from NHK, please. This is Iwasa from NHK. During the Pacific War, on the civilian the workers from Korean Peninsula, on this issue, on the previous day to the solution announced by the ROK, the government, you had a telephone conversation with the foreign minister. So what did you talk about? And with the announcement, do you plan to visit ROK yourself? Now, at the November summit meeting between Japan and ROK, the pending issues need to be as speedily as possible. It needs to be solved. So at the foreign ministers level, we have had very close communication. As for the foreign ministers, a telephone conversation on the 5th was in that line with the minister, Pak Chun. The consultation up until now, we have confirmed on that, and we had communication. Because it is a diplomatic communication, I would refrain from mentioning more of a detail. As for the foreign ministers' mutual visits, nothing has been decided.
Ueda-san of Kyoto. I am Ueda from Kyoto. I have a related question. So yesterday, the government of Korea made an announcement with regards to the solution for this issue. And is it the government of Japan's view that this issue of the former civilian workers from the Korean Peninsula is solved? And is there no need to continue the discussion between the diplomatic authorities? That is my question. And also, yesterday you talked about the expansion of exchange in the areas of politics, economy, and culture between the two countries. What do you have in your specifically in your mind? The government of Japan value the announcement, made by the Korean government yesterday. The announcement was made with regards to the measure, which is to restore the healthy relationship between two countries, which was in severe situation after the judgment made by the Supreme Court of Korea in 2018. And we expect that the Korean government will proceed with domestic process and make utmost effort to gain understanding by plaintiffs and execute the measures. And with regards to the expanded exchange in the three areas you mentioned, there is nothing specific in our minds. It was the expression of the hope that the relationship between two countries will be further developed in a healthy manner based on the friendly foundation built up since 1965 normalization.
Abe-san from Yomiuri Shimbun. Yes, this is Abe from Yomiuri Shimbun. A follow-up question. Now, what ROK, the government, has made an announcement. What about the irreversibility? In the past, the joint agreement that has been reversed. So how do you ensure irreversibility of what has been stated? Now, what is being announced yesterday on the measure that they have announced, the Korean government will be making every effort possible to gain the understanding of the plaintiff. And we hope that the Korean government would steadily implement the measure.
Ueda from Asahi. My question is also a related question. And yesterday, you mentioned that the stance of the government will continue. And is that right, that the deep remorse and heartfelt apology will also be continued? Yes, as I stated yesterday, the entire position outlined by previous administration is continued, including the Japan-ROK joint declaration in October 1998. And it was reconfirmed or reaffirmed in this occasion. Thank you.
Kim-san from Chuo Nippo. My name's Kim Yankee, head from the Chuo Nippo. I have two questions. In your press conference yesterday, the voluntary donation from the private sector businesses, the government will take no specific position. That is to say, Mitsubishi had a heavy industry and the Nippon Steel. Do you think that it would also apply to them? And what about the business community like the Keidan-ren? For the projects to do with the future, the private sector businesses are urged to participate. For those two companies to make donations, the government will not prevent that. And my second question is to do with the right to claim compensation. Now, legally speaking, the right to claim compensation will still remain. So, for the government of Japan, would you recognize this right to claim compensation? First of all, starting with the right to claim compensation issue, what the ROK government has announced as a measure, as for the domestic legal positioning of the measure, government of Japan is in no position to give the answer. Now, having said that, as for the intent of this measure, for the exercise of right to claim compensation is not being envisaged. That is what we understand. Now, as to the donation, as I have stated yesterday, as for government of Japan, we will take no particular position on this. So as a general comment, I think it would apply to any company.
Takeuchi-san of Mainichi Shimbun. I have a question with regards to a different topic. My question is with regards to the by-election for the 4th district of Okayama. And you attended the election campaign meeting. And what do you think about the importance of this by-election, and how are you going to be engaged? Yes, as a member of a House Representative of the LDP, with regards to the by-election to be held in the 23rd of April, actually, in Yamaguchi there are 2 districts, and also all other districts are important for LDP, so I'd like to support the election of our candidates.
Ueda-san from Kyodo News. Yes, this is Ueda from Kyodo News. I would like to ask a question on Japan-China relationship. In the 7th press conference, the Foreign Minister of China said that, being confirming the full political document, that the principle of not being a threat to each other should be maintained. And he has also asked for responsible the response to the treated water from the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant. Now, I would also like to ask, have you already made a coordination as for your possible visit to China? I would not make a comment for each and every statement made by Foreign Minister Qin Gang. Japan and China, we have been facing various and numerous issues, as well as pending other questions, as well as having many the possibilities in the changing international the circumstances. Japan and China has the great responsibility for the peace and stability of the region and for the whole world. What we need to say needs to be said to China, and we should strongly ask for responsible the actions, and including the pending issues. Both countries need to exert efforts for constructive and stable relations to be built, to cooperate on the common issues, and to have a series of dialogue to be done at the leaders' level as well. For the Alps treated the water, how to handle this, Japan has always strictly being adhering to international law, and based upon international practices, we have made the utmost efforts on consideration for the impact on the safety as well as health as well as environment. As for response, including China to the international society, we have been giving explanation in detail with high transparency going forward. We have already been receiving the review from IAEA, where the Chinese expert has been participating. There has nothing has been decided as to my possible visit to China.
I'm Takeuchi from Mainichi Shimbun. So the National People's Congress started on the 5th in China, and it was revealed that the military or defense budget of the China is 7.2% higher than previous year. And what is your view about China, which is accelerating its military buildup? And inclusive of your visit to China, how would you face China? As mentioned, China has been increasing defense budget continuously at high level. And without sufficient transparency, it is increasing and improving the military capability extensively and in accelerated manner. And such military trend of China is a grave concern for Japan and international community. And in securing peace and stability of Japan and international community and strengthening international order based on rule of law, this trend is an unprecedented strategic challenge. And it needs to be addressed through a comprehensive capability of Japan, as well as collaboration with allies and like-minded countries. But at the same time, there is a positive momentum which was gained by the November summit between the two countries, and we need to say what needs to be said, hold dialogues repeatedly, inclusive of summit level, and request China to take responsible actions, while both sides make efforts to build constructive, stable Japan-China relations in which we cooperate on various common challenges. That is all. It is time, so this is the end of the press conference. Thank you very much.